Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games back with another cool pinball repair video for you today. We've got this Ted Nugent by Stern pinball game in our shop. We sold this many years ago to a company that put this in a brewery, and they've been operating it for a long time, and it's had some issues arise, so they brought it back to our shop, and we're going to see what's going on with it, see what we can fix and get it working good for them so they can put it back out and play it some more. So these are our favorite ones whenever they've been back out on location and people have been enjoying them. So we pulled the back glass out. Let me go show you the rest of the game in the front. So they brought it to us with the legs off, which is fine. We've got the legs over there. And the guy, when I talked to him on the phone, he said that the power supply was messed up. So I don't know about that, but we'll see what it's doing. It's pretty dirty, so one thing we'll have to do is clean it up for him. You can see here in the middle it's got a lot of dirt on it, so we'll get that all cleaned up. From what I understand, they've been playing the hell out of it. Now it does have some ball wear up here, so I'm going to see if that was like that before. We always take pictures of everything. So I don't know if that was already that bad when we sold it, or if all of that is new. If all that's new, we're going to have to figure something out about that, folks. But other than that, everything looks pretty good. I don't even see any plastics that have broken. You got some stuff like this where they've popped up off of the post, but we should be able to get it back doing its thing. So we took the back glass off, and here's the main CPU. It had been repaired. You know, they always have the alkaline damage. We cleaned it up and it looks like it's still nice and pretty clean. I don't see anything where it's coming back or anything. And then there is a remote battery holder soldered to it, so that's good. This is the power supply. The Sterns were very much like the Bally's, but this was one of the early ones, so some of the stuff is just a little bit different from the Bally stuff. But they basically ripped Bally off, got sued for it, and then agreed to pay Bally a royalty for every game they sold, so they could use their boards. And it kind of worked well because what their thinking was, if Stern and Bally, two companies, use the same boards, this was Bally's thinking, then the operators will get to where they prefer Bally or Stern, because the boards will be more familiar to them, right? So they did this to try to screw Williams. They were going after Williams hard. So the CPU board looks fine. The sound board over there looks fine. Lamp driver board looks fine. And all of the displays look fine, but who knows? Who knows, people? So we've plugged it in. Let's turn it on and see what happens. Up. Booted right up. Okay, it's got some issues though. So that third display is tripping. You may not be able to see it on the camera, but it's got some issues. There's some stuff going on. The other displays all look fine. About half of the lights are burnt out in the back box, and on the Playfield, almost all the lights are burnt out. Some of the insert lights are working, but on the general illumination lights, only one of them's lit up. So we've got a bunch of bad lights. So we'll have to mess with that. See if we can get a credit on it. Okay, we got 3 credits. Let's see if she'll start. She started. Oh, okay. Flippers aren't working right. That flipper up there isn't working at all. So that's their problem, probably. Can't play it when the flippers are screwed up. He said power supply, so I wonder if there's something else going on. So we'll have to work through it a little bit, but let's see if it ends the game after 3 balls. Drop targets are set like they should. Hell, it almost plays itself. Ball 2. Pop bumpers work fine. Slings both work. Switches seem to work. Soundboard works. Knocker works. So it looks like it's working, but it just needs worked through. So I think the first thing I'll do, just because it's driving me crazy, is we'll mess with that third display and see what I can get going on that. So whenever you get one like that that's tripping a little bit, first thing I'm going to try is I'm just going to try, with the power off, I'm going to try unplugging the display, plugging it back in, see if that fixes anything. And if not, we're going to try pulling it out and resoldering the connectors. Okay, folks, so the display, there was nothing wrong with the connector or anything. It had been resoldered. I guess I'd resoldered it whenever I had it before. So the power supply looks like, I think somebody has worked on the power supply that wasn't me. This game's been gone a while, but so there's, I think somebody replaced the filter cap. I don't know why I didn't do that whenever I had it, but the filter cap's been replaced. So in other words, I think somebody's worked on it a little bit since me, and the display voltage was a little bit low, which is fine. People turn down the display voltage because it makes the displays last longer. But if you turn it down too far, the problem you get is sometimes some of the displays don't like that, and they'll start doing what that one was doing, where it was ghosting a little bit. So what I did was I turned the display back up to 185. It says 175, but 185 is acceptable. And whenever I did, it stopped doing the flickering almost entirely. It was still doing it just a little bit though, so I moved it over here. If you look at that third digit, it's still doing it a little bit. I don't know if the camera will even pick it up. You can barely see it. But in that position, it's going to be covered by the back glass because it just uses those 2 digits and those 2 digits. So alternately, you can swap the display. I think what's actually going on is that the glass is starting to go on it. So they may have a display that needs to be replaced down the line. They make new LED displays, and you can actually swap just one of those. So you can buy just a LED display for this one if you wanted, and they look pretty similar to the original displays too. So if it gets worse and worse and starts where the digits that you can see are flickering too, then we'll get them a brand new display. But that fix didn't cost anything, right? So then I started playing it a little bit, and I think their problem that basically this thing has just been rode hard and put away wet. I mean, they've played the hell out of this thing, which is great. I'm glad they're getting a lot of play out of it. Like I was saying earlier, it needs cleaning. They should have cleaned it a little more, but basically the flippers are starting to wear out. So this flipper wasn't even working. This flipper's real touchy, got things going on. This flipper's weak, right? So I'll lift up the Playfield and I'll show you what I figured out was going on with the flippers. So this flipper on the right wasn't working at all. The one that's halfway up the Playfield, it just wasn't working. So I thought the way that it works is this flipper, whenever it pulls in, it touches this switch together, which makes that top one fire. as you can see it's doing now. I just ruined my story, right? Now you know it's going to fire. It shouldn't be arcing like that though, but it wasn't working. So after looking around, I figured out that the little wire, I'll show you on this one because it's easier to get to. See that green wire in there going between the middle lug and the right lug? That wire was broke in the middle. So basically half of the coil wasn't working, so it wasn't strong enough to fire. It wasn't all the way put together. So I pulled back the wrapper a little bit. I found the broken piece of wire and I soldered it back, and now it flips. I've got to clean that end of stroke switch though. It shouldn't be sparking like that, arcing like that. This right one and this left one work fine, but if you look down here, that's the right flipper cabinet switch. See the contacts, the two contacts there that touch together? Okay. On this left one of the contacts is missing. So when you press it, it still touches, and I can bend it to make it easier to touch, but there's no contact there. You should have two contacts touching. So that switch needs to be replaced. And while I'm at it, I'm just going to replace this switch too, just so that they're new. I replaced the 3 nylon sleeves in all 3 of the flipper coils, but one of the issues that people have had for a while is that these Stern games, they're really similar to the Bally's, like I was saying. They have the same boards and all of that, or similar board sets, but there are slight differences. So on the flippers, for instance, there are slight differences. It's made just a little bit differently. So this actual link here, this is the plunger and this is the link, is hard to get, and for a while you couldn't even get them. So I think whenever I did it before, there was no way to even replace that, or at least maybe I thought there wasn't. So there's some wear in it, but they've been playing the hell out of this thing, so they may have been fine before and now they're worn out. But if you see how that moves, there should be no play in that. I shouldn't be able to do that at all. But the metal and the fiber link the metal has worn out that sleeve, so it's making this flipper weak. This flipper's got the exact same thing going on. But the good news is Pinball Life to the rescue, and a couple other companies, but Pinball Life has completely redesigned or completely reproduced the flippers. So you can get not only that plunger, you can get the whole thing. I mean, you can get the plate. Everything on the flipper has been reproduced by Pinball Life. And I think you can get some of the stuff from Pinball Resource, but I just checked and they were sold out of the plungers that I need and link, but they'll get some more back in, I'm sure. But I just went ahead and ordered them from Pinball Life, which is a great company. So I ordered some flipper rebuild stuff. We'll rebuild those, and I'll order some cabinet switches. We'll replace those. And then we'll shop the Playfield out. The thing's filthy. We'll change all the rubber rings and clean it and wax it and replace all the light bulbs. I replaced the light bulbs in the back box. Might be a good idea to upgrade them with LEDs so that so they last longer if they're going to be playing it on location this much. But we'll see what they want to do. But I'll order that stuff and we'll see what whenever it comes in, we'll swap it out. And we'll see what the Playfield looks like after we clean it up a little bit. So we're waiting on the flipper stuff, but we went ahead and shopped out the Playfield. I didn't take everything off of it. I just took the plastics off and all the rubber rings off. But it cleaned back up pretty good. Got the lights working again. That helped a lot. Cleaned it up, waxed it. It's got 2 wear areas. One right there. We sold this game 5 years ago, so I looked it up and the wear was still there 5 years ago. And then that little spot at the top has gotten slightly worse. I'm thinking that this kick out hole kicks the ball all the way across there, and that's where it lands from that kick out hole. I think that's right. So I think that's why there's damage up there. So I'm going to try to get some Mylar and cover that up so it'll look a little better. And we put the back glass back in. Of course, we didn't have to do anything to it. That's one of the The only word for that is rad. That's one of the raddest back glasses of all time. The only letdown of this machine is that it was before they really had the ability to play, you know, really good music in the machines. I saw where somebody made like an MP3 mod that you could put in this where it plays some of the songs, but I don't think they had it where it does it intelligently. I think it just plays his music while the game's playing. But we got it looking good again, and it's playing good. We're just waiting on things to rebuild the flippers because they're sloppy, so we got to get the flippers stronger. So we got our stuff in that we ordered for the flippers and everything. I also ordered the little credit sticker because and they're actually operating it, so that'll help them people know where to press the start button. We put in new flipper switches. I guess I can open this thing up, but you get the whole point. We put in new flipper plunger links and all of that. So let's turn it on. I don't have it on legs, so it's flat, but we can. Let's see if our flippers are better. Hopefully our top one will work. What do you think? Oop, I missed. Missed again. Oh, there we are. We're back down on this one. Is that strong enough? I think that's pretty strong. All right, let's try with the left hand. That's how the left hand side is. Ooh, that's strong. Alright, so I think we got it ready to go, so we're going to send it back out to the brewery where people can enjoy it some more. It's a pretty cool game. So I think what I'll do is we actually filmed ourselves playing a Nugent, and so I'll put some gameplay footage at the end of this video so you can see what it plays like. We just thought we'd film a little video showing you the shape they're in whenever they come in sometimes, and what we do to them to get them back doing their thing. So let's play some Nuge. All right. And that is what it looks like with the lights off. One thing about these videos that I film, we don't have the glass on it, so there's no reflection. But what that does is it makes all of the flippers and the coils and the kickers and everything really loud, because they're not muffled by the glass like they usually are. Usually you can't hear them quite as much as you can with the glass off, so ignore that. I've turned the sound way up, so I hope it's not too loud, but it'll give you an idea of how it sounds. Another thing about these early Stern games, they had the Stern SB100 soundboard in it, and it just makes beeps and boops, stuff like that. Well, the thing is, you can tune the things. There's these little knobs in there you can turn to make them higher pitched or lower pitched, but there's no record anywhere that I know of or that I've been able to find of what you should tune it to. Like, should this note be a C? Should this note be an E? So if you look at videos of these early Stern games, some of them you'll hear, and the chimes will be, or not the chimes, the sound effects will be real low, boop, 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 boop. And some of them it'll be really high, boop, 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 because nobody knows how you're supposed to tune them. And unless we can find like a really early video of somebody playing one or something, I don't know how we're going to be able to figure out if they're supposed to be high or low, because you hear both. Some people say they remember them high, some people say they remember them low. So maybe back in the day everybody tuned them different, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But all right, we'll play a game and you can see what you think. This is Stern's Nugent 1978, baby. Check that out. I got the lucky bounce off of the the post between the flippers. When you get that saucer up there, you get to collect the bonus. Normally, you just collect the bonus at the end of the ball. In each ball. I was trying to let it just, you can't quite see it in the camera, but there's a post right in the middle here. And so I was trying to let it just bounce off the post back up. That's a dangerous game to play. Oh. And again, to be fair to Stern, I know the sound ain't as cool as you would think from a Nugent game, but nothing was any better at the time, really. I'm sure some people will reply and say, yes, there was, but not really. I mean, I guess some of the Williams stuff was, but Bally surely wasn't doing that much better. Oh, man. We'll try another one. The score was 78,000. That's not very good. Yeah. Get that bonus up there. Uh-oh. Nope. Oh! The beeps were quicker than the lights. I kind of like it. Oh! Let's read the instructions. Maybe I'll get a better score. It says pop bumper scores 1,000. Now I hope I got that set right with the dip switches, but it says pop bumper scores 1,000. Top and the center rollover score 100, and it lights the top right and left lanes for 9,000. So that would be this. There's a little button right here, and there's another one up at the top. Rollovers. Stationary target scores 5,000 and lights the return lanes. That's this bad boy all the way up here. Ball kick-out hole scores the lit value. Oh, they're saying, okay, so yeah, so whenever you get the saucer up there, you get the lit value, I guess, which would be the bonus. It lets you get the, because it says collect bonus. All right, upper 3 bank drop targets down score 6,000, and they multiply the bonus by the lit value. That's pretty cool. So up at the top there's a green light lit right now that says 2 times, and then there's a 3 times and a 5 times. So if you get all 3 of those, you get 6,000 points, and it'll give you double, triple, or 5 times whatever the bonus score is. Every 4th turn on the spinner advances the bonus. So if you make that sucker spin and the lights go all the way up, it makes your bonus start walking up the bonus ladder on the guitar there. Spinner lights when bonus reaches 10,000. So if you get the 10,000 lit, it lights up the spinner, so that says spinner scores 1,000 when lit. So every time it flips around, it gives you 1,000 points. Left side 3 bank drop target down scores 10,000 points. Those are those over there. The other one did 6,000, remember. It says the second time it's down, it lights the extra ball lane. So the extra ball lane would be... Oh, I think the... I do not see the extra ball lane. There is a shot. If you look behind that flipper, if you lift that flipper by using this flipper, you can actually shoot the ball past it back into the return lane, which is kind of a hard shot. Maximum 1 extra ball per ball in play. Special scores 1 replay, and then whenever you tilt it, it disqualifies the ball in play only. So basically, hit as many targets as possible. Boy, that's a good one up there. Oh, man. I was robbed. I always forget that flipper's up there. I want to try to make that weird shot behind it. Oh. Oh. They got me. All right, one last game, folks. Oh. They didn't even give me a free ball. Come on now. If you don't score any points, they're supposed to give you a free ball. Actually, they did give me a free ball. Sweet. Oh, come on now. All right, there it is, folks. So there you have it. 1978 Stearns Nugent. By the time you see this video, Uncle Ted here, the Detroit City madman, probably won't be here anymore because these things usually sell pretty quick. But maybe we'll have something else that you're interested in. You can check out our website, lionsarcade.com, and see all the games we have in at the moment. We usually have a lot more arcade games than pinball machines, but we do get pinball machines. Or you can stop by and see us in person. We have a shop. We're open every day except Sunday, and we're open from 11 to 8. We're in downtown Rock Hill, South Carolina, which is about 15 minutes south of Charlotte, North Carolina. And stop by. We've got a showroom here. We've got all kinds of stuff, usually 40 or 50 games at a time. So we'll see you soon. We'll bring you another cool video right away.